Alright, so problem solving na ta. So let's solve some problems. Mo ni siya ang tanang problems nga naa sa ato ang practice set, no? So if na perfect na mo ani, well and good, congratulations. Okay, but if in case gani nga napay mga portions na ikalibgan, or even if na perfect mo ani, just like they clarified, no? So stay tuned. Okay, we are going to discuss the problems that we had in our practice. So for example, kani siya nga problem. If the supplies expense account before adjustment on May 31 indicated a balance of 2,250 and supplies on hand at May 31 totaled 950, the adjusting entry would be, okay, so bantayanan class ang data. So May 31, that means May 31 day ang end of the period. Okay, so first question, what method was used? Okay, so tanawa ang given class ha. If the supplies expense account before adjustment indicated a balance of 2,250, so therefore, unsa nga method ang gigamit? So ang gigamit is expense method. And remember, kung expense method gani, unsa ganito atong i-recognize when we do the adjustment? Okay, in the adjusting entry, if the company or if the business uses expense method, then we recognize the asset. Kung expense method gani, himo nimo sa adjusting entry, recognize the asset. And how do we recognize the asset? We debit the asset. So therefore, tanawon din nato sa ato ang choices. Kung dili gani asset yang gi-debit, pwede na nato siya i-strike out. For example, kani, no supplies expense man, so tangtangan na, di na siya mawang correct answer. And that one, supplies expense man, so tangtangan na. Okay, so di na possible nga kanang duha ang answer. Nga naman, kay expense method gani, recognize the asset or debit asset. So duha na lang ang possible answer. Bravo or delta. Kay pareho mo na siyang ga-debit o asset, right? So next, tuling tanawon. What is the correct amount of the unused supplies at May 31? Okay, so the unused supplies, unsa man ang unused supplies? Mao na ang asset or mao na siya ang expense? Unused, wa pa nagamit. Diba? The unused supplies is actually the asset section, asset portion. And the unused supplies nato is 950. So therefore, pangitaon na ni debit og asset nga ang amount 950. And so therefore, matangtang na din nato ang choice B, and then the correct answer then is letter C. Debit supplies, credit supplies, expense. Ako na-notice tas murag na ato yung sa ka-number no nga weird kayo sa ato ang LMS kay duha yung correct answer no. So kani atong gi-discuss karon class mao gini siya correct answer, okay? So debit supplies and then credit supplies expense. What did we do here? We recognize nga naay supplies nga asset nga 950 kay mao man naa sa iyahang supplies on hand at the end of the period. And then ato akong i-decrease ang supplies expense, no? Kaya ang supplies expense niya is 2,250 man. Pero kung naay 950 nga nahibilin ana, that means ang imuhang gyud ang supplies expense is 1,300, no? So 2,250 minus 950 is 1,300. Okay, so the correct answer then is debit supplies, credit supplies expense. Okay, kanita class. If the supplies account before adjustment on May 31 indicated a balance of 2,250 and supplies on hand at May 31 totaled 950, the adjusting entry would be, so tanawan na to class, what method was used? Okay, so tanawan na to ang given. If the supplies account ko no, before adjustment is 2,250, so therefore, unsa ang method na gigamit? Is it asset method or expense method? It is asset method. Nga naman, supplies man. Kung siya ningog supplies expense. Supplies or supplies on hand, asset accounts na. No? So, asset method ang i-gamit. Okay, now, recall, kung asset method gani, during the adjusting entry, unsa gani ito ang ato ang buhaton, recognize the, if it's the asset method, in the adjusting entry, we will recognize the expense. Meaning to say, we will debit the expense. So, pangitangon din nato sa choices class, unsa nga mga choices ang nag-debit og expense. O kung ano siya nag-debit og expense, tangtangan na siya, kaya di na mo ang answer. Okay, so tangtangon na siya. Kaya yan, debit asset mo. Kana po, tangtangon po na siya. Kaya debit asset. Again, kung asset method gani, dapat imong adjusting entry na pa-debit si expense. Okay, next. Atong tanawon, what is the correct amount of the used or consumed supplies at May 31? So kanina class, ako sa gibalik ka diyon class ha, kanina, ang ato ang gibuhat is debit the asset. So kay debit the asset man, ang atong ipangita nga amount, ang asset pud na amount, right? The unused pud na amount. Pero sa next problem class, tungod kay ang gigamit nato kay asset method man, unya debit the expense man ta, so ang pangitaon po nato nga amount is kadto pong nagamit na or na-consume na. Kay ang na-consume na, mao man na siya ang expense, right? So, kung niingon siya class, nga naa siya balance nga 2,250, unya ang nahibilin na lang ana, 950 na lang, so pila man day ang amount nga na-consume, no? Or nagamit na. So therefore, ang na-consumed na supplies is 2,250 minus 950. So ang na-consume di ay is 1,300. So sa duha ka choices na naibili, we could already identify asa ang correct answer. The correct answer is debit supplies expense and then credit supplies. Okay, so basta lang plus ma-familiarize na ninyo ang mga rules ana niya, no, o ang logic behind it. No, then dali raman yun actually ang adjusting entry. No, kailan yun mo padaog sa kahadlok. Okay, sige, let's have another example. The balance in the rent revenue account for Jones Company as of December 31 is 1,200, pertaining to a 6-month advance rental from a customer commencing on August 31. What is the adjusting entry at December 31? So, iyang period end is December 31. Okay? So, naa ko notay rent revenue account ni Jones Company. So, first question, what method was used? Okay, yan na siya class, the balance in the rent revenue account as of December 31. So, meaning to say class that the method used was the income method. Kay rent revenue account man ang naa sa unadjusted trial balance niya. Okay, so the rent revenue account signals that we are using the income method. Ug kung income method gani na class, bisa ganito atong rule ana, if this is the income method, we need to recognize the, say recognize the liability or credit the liability. So therefore, tanaw na nato sa choices, pangitaon tatong nag-credit sa liability, mao na lang to siya mahibilin ng possible correct answer. So kanang mga nag-credit og revenue, tantangan na. Di na siya possible nga correct answer. Ano man, income method gani, recognize the liability or credit the liability. So therefore, the next step that we are going to do, kay tungod liability man na atong gi-credit, no? So pangitaon nato ang amount of liability or the amount of the unearned portion. Katong wala pa nimo na earns. Diri na class importante makita nato ang period end. The period end is December 31, meaning we stop counting on December 31. The second thing atong bantayanan is kanusa man nagsugod ang coverage ani iyahang rent revenue. Rent revenue niya would commence or will start on August 31. Bantayan ka sa kay last day of the month na siya nag-start. Okay? And then, ang kanang 1,200 class na iyahang nadawat, that is only good for 6 months. 6 months lang ang coverage na. So therefore, we first start by computing the monthly revenue. So the monthly revenue is the amount that you have accepted in advance, totaling 1,200. Yan, anong 1,200? Balik, unang kabuuan ko na. So to get the monthly, we will have 1,200 divided by 6 months. So therefore, ang monthly revenue da niya class is 200. Okay, now, let us now try to compute the number of months earned and then the number of months unearned. So the number of months earned class, notice August 31. So kung sa ta magsugod og ihap, apilon bag ihap si August? 31 man na. Apilon ihap si August, dili apilon ihap si August, right? Magsugod tag ihap September na. So September, October, November, December. So ang months earned, okay, is 4 months, covering August 31 to December 31. Remember to start counting on September. Kay last day naman na siya sa August. Again, September, October, November, December. So 4 months ang na-earned. Now, ang coverage ani niya class nga rental received in advance is 6 months man. 6 months kuno ang coverage. Pero ang na-earn pa lang nato for the period is 4 months. So 6 months ang total coverage. We have rendered lang the service good for 4 months. So therefore, napatay 2 months nga unearned. right? 4 plus 2 equals 6. Take note as well, class, nga in this case, dili kita ang rent, ha? Kita ang nagpa-rent. Okay, kita may nakadawat sa advance payment. Okay, so number of months earned 4, number of months unearned 2. Let us proceed. Now, again, remember that the contract commences on August 31. So, September magsugod ka. Now, the unearned portion then is 200 man ang per month. Yeah, 2 months man ang unearned. So, therefore, 200 per month times 2 months is 400. The earned portion, on the other hand, is 200 per month times 4 months. So, the earned portion is 800. Now, before we review what the correct answer is, one thing lang kasi pwede nyo gamito, no, to help check kung sakto ba, no? Although it will not assure you kung sakto yun, but at least, no, it will help check. I-add na nimo ang number of months earned and number of months unearned. It will equal the number of months na naa sa coverage. Okay, so ako lang sa i-highlight class, no? So, 6, hindi ko siya makikita. 6 months na siya, no? 6 months. So, therefore, 4 plus 2 equals 6. Kung yung ko nang i-add class, the number of months, the unearned portion, which is 400, and then your earned portion, which is 800. So 400 plus 800 is actually 1,200, which is the total amount that you have received. Okay, so balik ta class, no? Tungod kay income method man na, that means we have to credit the liability. So kay liability man ang i-credit, ang pangitaon na to class is the amount for the unearned. And the amount for the unearned is 400. So therefore, dili pwede si letter A. So ang correct answer then is debit rent revenue for 400, credit unearned rent for 400. Okay, so gani class ang murag in a way, shorter way of analyzing, na especially kung multiple choice questions. Okay, sige, next. The balance in the rent revenue account for Jones Company as of December 31 is 1,200 pertaining to a 6-month advance rental from a customer. Okay, now, ang sa atong bantayanan ani class, no? First, rent revenue iyahang gigamit. Okay, second, ang total nga dawat is 1,2 ug ang 1,2 is good for 6 months. Third, ang kana iyang advance nga rental sa customer, magsugod na siya August 1. Okay, kanina it was August 13. Karon magsugod siya August 1. And then, ang year-end niya or ang period end niya is December 31. Okay, those are the important information. First question, what method was used? Kay rent revenue man na class, that means the method used was the income method. And again, unsay rule gani class kung income method? Under the income method, you have to recognize the liability. Therefore, credit the liability. So, pangitaon din ito nato sa atong choices, unsay wala ni credit sa liability, ato na siyang tangtangon, pwede na siya. That cannot be the correct answer. No? So, automatically, na-reduce na itong probability from 25% correct, 50-50 na lang, or no? Kaya doon na lang ka-choices na ibilin. So, credit the liability. Next, tungod kay liability man ang ato ang gi-credit. So, ang ato pong pangitaon class is the amount of the liability or amount of the unearned portion. Okay, so let us start by computing the monthly revenue. So that's 1,200, good for 6 months. That means the monthly revenue is 200. Okay, now let's now try to count the number of months earned and the number of months unearned. Take note, magsugod tag-ihap og August 1 until December 31. Okay, August 1. So kay August 1 man, unsa man, apilon og count ang August, dili. August 1 man, apilon og count ang August, kay 1 man na siya. So August, September, October, November, December. So meaning to say, pila ka months na class ang earned. Ang months na earned is actually 5. No? 5 na, August, September, October, November, December. 5 months. Kay 6 months naman to ang coverage. So, pila ka months naman lang ang naibilin na unearned di ay. So, ang unearned is only 1 month. Okay? So, crucial class ang pag-ihap. Kaya kung masayop lang tag-usa ka month, masayop naman ang amount. So, August 1 month, apilon og ihap si. Okay, now. So, remember that the contract commences on August. So, the unearned portion is 200 per month times 1 month. Kay 1 month naman ang unearned. Okay? So therefore, the amount is 200. Pero ang earned portion, anak niya class, the earned portion is 5 months. So therefore, that is 1,000. Okay? Quick check lang. So we have 5 months earned plus 1 month unearned. That means a total of 6 months, which is the coverage. And then you have unearned portion is 200. Then the earned portion is 1,000. So 200 plus 1,000 is 1,200. Okay, so takdo ra mga amounts. Now, since this is the income method, and under the income method, we are to credit the liability. So ang amount natong pangitaon plus will be the amount relating to the liability. So ang liability is the unearned portion man. So the unearned portion is 200 pesos. So therefore, ang correct answer then is debit rent revenue and then credit unearned rent. Okay? So hopefully makabuild ni siya mastery ninyo. So next, the balance in the unearned rent account. So gusto ni siyang pang-highlightan class. No? Maklaro gid nato kung saan niya ato ang answer. So unearned rent account kuno. So 1,200 again good for 6 months. And then advance rental from a customer commencing or starting August 31. The period end is December 31. Okay, so first question. What method was used? Remember, that's unearned rent account. So kay unearned rent account man, the method used is the liability method. Okay? And what is the rule, class? What will our adjusting entry be like if the business uses the liability method? Then kung liability method gani, we have to recognize the income or credit the income. So pagitaon nila to sa itong choices, asa man ani ang dili income ang gi-credit, ato na silang pangtangtangon from our choices. No? Kay it cannot be the correct answer. So ang ibilin na lang are only two choices whereby gi-credit niya ang income. So next thing we have to determine is pila man ang correct amount. Is it 800 or is it 400? So first, okay, pila man ang monthly revenue. So again, balik ta diri class, 1,200, good for 6 months. That means ang binuan ana is 200. Sorry. Then we count the number of months earned. Okay? And then the number of months unearned. So, bantayan class because that is August 31. Kung August 31, gani, apilon pag-count si August, dili. Dili apilon og count si August. Dili apilon. Nga naman, kay 31 man na. No? Di man na siya 1 month, 1 day raman na. So, we will start counting on September. So, September, October, November, December. Okay, so pila ra ka months ang na-earn mo for the year? For the current year? September, October, November, December. Dili apilon si August kay 31 man na. So, therefore, 4 months. No? 4 months ang na-earn. Pila ganito ang coverage class sa ato ang advanced rental nga nadawat. Diba? That's good for 6 months. 4 months man ang na-earn. That means 2 months ang unearned. Right? So again, to check, 4 months earned plus 2 months unearned will give you a total of the 6 month coverage. Okay, next. Okay, again, as a reminder, the contract commences on August 31, so you start counting on September. The unearned portion is good for 2 months. So 200 times 2 months is 400. The earned portion, on the other hand, is good for 4 months. So therefore, 200 times 4 is 800. So again, ato i-check. 4 plus 2 is 6. That's the coverage. 400 plus 800 is 1,200. That's a total amount received. So, ang next, how do we know if it's 800 or 400? And atong tanawon, credit the income man, no? Recognize the income or credit the income. So, ang atong pangitaon sa income na amount. And ang income na amount is the earned portion, which is 800. So, therefore, kabalo na ta sa correct answer then, debit and earned rent, 800, and then credit rent revenue for 800. Okay, I hope okay pa class, no? And I hope naka-follow ra. Again, feel free to rewatch the video and then discuss with your study buddies, no? You could also comment it, no, in our Facebook page para at least I would know kung sa inyong mga kalipgan and I could help clear it out for you. Okay, sige, next problem ta. The balance in the unearned rent account for Jones Company as of December 31 is 1,200 pertaining to a 6-month advance rental from a customer commencing on August 1. What is the adjusting entry on December 31? So, unsa important nga information? Unearned rent, okay? Unearned rent, and then 1,200, good for 6 months. Unya, nagsugod na siya August 1. Then, the period end is December 31. Okay, so these are the important information. Okay, now what method is used or was used? Unearned rent mo na. So, kung unearned rent, meaning ang method na igamit is the liability method. Okay? Kung sa ganito yung rule class, kung liability method, recognize the income or credit the income. Okay? So, in this case, pangita ato sa choices nga dili income ang gi-credit o pagtangtangan na, no? Hindi na mao ang correct answer. So, duha na lang hibilin, duha lang atong pilian. So, the question now is it 400 or is it 1,000? Okay? So, therefore, what is the correct amount of the income? Kay income man ang i-credit, so pangita na to ang amount sa income. Okay? So, the monthly revenue, we know this already, kay similar rin siya data sa problem, no? This time, number of months earned is 5. Nga ganito, kay August 1 man na. Kung August 1 gani, apilon kung ihapsing August. August, September, October, November, December. 5 months. Yeah, kay 6 months, 6 months man ang coverage, 5 months na ang earned, that means the unearned is 1 month. So, the unearned portion is worth 200, kay 1 month naman. The earned portion is good for, is worth 1,000, kay 5 months man. Ug tungod class kay i-credit man na to ang income, i-credit na to ang income kay liability method man. So, kung liability method, in the adjusting entry, credit the income. Then, get the amount pertaining to the income. So, ang income, aning kanimang earned portion nga, 1,000. Right? So, therefore, we already know the answer then. The answer is debit unearned rent, 1,000. Credit rent revenue for 1,000. Okay? So, we hope okay pa ta. I hope naka-follow pa. No? So, this is the last question on the short problems. Nya, ang musunod ani kato na dayong tag-as na problems. No? So, ato sang humanon ang short problems. Okay, which of the following represents a deferral? So, sa kanitong deferral class, a deferral is either a prepayment or an advance collection. So, therefore, dili na pwede si wages payable. Kay si wages payable, wa man na ni mo bayray payable gani. So, wala pa'y cash involved. So, wages payable is an example of an accrued expense. It's an expense already incurred but not yet paid. So it cannot be a deferral. Kaysa deferral gani, advance payment man ka sa expenses. Dili ko na pwede si fees earned class. Why? Because we do not know kani nga fees earned sa man nabayran na ba ni in cash? No, and if in case gani wala pa ni siya nabayri in cash, meaning receivable ni siya. So meaning wa pa kay nadawat na kwarta. So dili siya advance collection. No, so this is an example. Kung panalitan gani class, dili ni siya paid in cash, receivable ni siya, it becomes an example of an accrued revenue. Okay? Now, what about accumulated depreciation? What is accumulated depreciation? And is it an example of a deferral? Actually, class, no po, no? An accumulated depreciation is called a contra account, particularly a contra asset account. And a contra account is an account that is subtracted from another account. So kung contra asset account na siya, meaning it's an account that is subtracted from an asset. Okay, niya ato na i-discuss in more detail si accumulated depreciation kung mag-discuss na ta in detail po about depreciation expense. Okay, so for now, ang nabili na lang of course is prepaid insurance. Yung obvious man po, no, kay prepayment man na siya. So prepayment is an example of a deferral. So therefore, the correct answer is prepaid insurance. Okay, sige. So, aron dili kayo ni taas na video, nya dili kayo mo ma-overwhelm sa ato ang discussion, ako na po siyang i-end sa dire. So, ako siyang i-end dire, unya inig ka next na to nga video, aray ta magsugod sa longer problems, no? Starting with basic company. So, please do not forget to watch the third and final part of this video lecture series para for the long problems. So, for now, ato sa siyang i-end, aron dili kayo taas. Okay? I'll see you in the next video.